On historic Counter-Strike grounds, Dallas, Texas, DreamHack Masters carried on the legacy of the game we all love. In a city where history had been written, once again, Masters would be crowned.
I don't think that we had a lot of pressure when we were going into Dallas. I think that we were feeling pretty confident in our game, and we were just looking to start off our trophy run.
Team Liquid were here to prove they had what it takes to win.
And the SG is gone, and Naf is out of it. That's Nitro. Oh, the sack! He could do it! Just needs one more bullet! Oh, this is so close! Nitro! He wins the round! Absolutely beautiful!
Winning the group meant Liquid advanced straight to the semi-finals.
Another inside of that smoke. He'll be leaves to try and fight them 1 versus 4, and he's got the first kill. The bomb is right there, so that's like the only thing going for him. One more headshot. They're gonna fight them.
I remember the game against Furia was a tough one. They were already like a pretty good team back then. They were still unproven on LAN.
Yeah, oh, but they're jumping up. Oh, Elise!
And I remember it being a really close game against them, and it was a really like hype game too. I remember the crowd going crazy during it. I think the crowd support helps us a lot, especially when you're having a game that's really close, and it gets everyone really hyped, because when you're getting like those like 1 gigs and you keep on like going for more, you get like a spray down or something, and the crowd's just going crazy for you. I think that it really helps.
After beating Furia, the Finnish surprise ENCE was up next.
I don't think that we were surprised. ENCE was already like a good team at that point in time, because they made us to the finals of Katowice. So we already knew that they were like a good team. They were a top team.
Ariel's the second man. He finds two before going down a spine. It leaves them in an even situation before the bomb plant, and they've got the HP at peak and deny the plant. They have no idea as to where the rotation comes from, but they'll see it now. Sergey, that's aggressive. Jumping in just gives Elise the confidence to peek back out. He knew where the second flash came from.
Well, in the final, like, you always want to make sure that you don't like think it's over until it's actually over, because as soon as you start thinking that, then you're not focused on the game.
Doing so allows 4 players to hold towards top of middle. That's working out fantastically so far. The lead with a 3-man spray down. Nitro will chime in, and Sergey.
So even when you like break their economy and you're super far up, like in the game that we were against them on the 3rd map, we still need to like make sure that we're really in it, and they can come back at any point in time. They were a really good team back then. Yeah, they were a hard team, so it was a really good start win for us.
He can sense players on the other side. It's going to be a kill for Twitch, surely. He gets the first.
But he's got the kill. And Liquid have it. They've got the championship. They've got Masters.
In a close and tight affair, Liquid managed to please the home crowd and beat ENCE to become the masters of their dreams.
"2019 was the year that Team Liquid looked unstoppable, but 2020 is a very different beast. Just 4 teams remain in the frame for the DreamHack Masters Winter Trophy. Let's head into the semi-finals.
DreamHack Masters Winter is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, Monster Energy, and MSI.
Welcome to day 6 of the DreamHack Masters Winter. It is semi-finals Saturday. My name is Frankie Ward. I'm joined by Scrawny and Launders. And we do have a little bit of a health update. We've all had something shoved up our nose this morning. I feel like I was quite brave. I tipped my head right back, no eye watering or anything. Like literally my nasal cavities are now just permanently open.
I apparently didn't have enough stuff in my first nostril, so they went for the second. And then we came to get our makeup, and that's usually where we unwind, and our makeup artist called us nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've done so many COVID tests at this point that I think I'm starting to like it.
You're a sucker for that little bit of nostril pain, Scrawny. Thank you so much, by the way, to our sponsors who make the Masters possible. Monster Energy, Corsair, Intel, MSI, and the US Air Force. Thank you so much for supporting Counter-Strike. And thank you to the massive head of broccoli last night that gave Launders some much-needed vitamins. He ate that thing like an ice cream. He left little broccoli bobbles all over the floor, and apologies in advance to whoever had to clean it up in the hotel. But hey, you know what? He's got shiny skin this morning. He's glowing as a result.
It was necessary. Okay, there was a necessary casualty right there.
It was incredibly necessary. I'm very glad you did it. I wish I'd done it too. Scrawny,
Yo.
yesterday, Gambit's run came to an end.
Yeah, it did, right? Like a 19-win streak or something ridiculous like this since they had last met Na'Vi, the top-tier competitor that had, put them down a bit before they gained a lot of momentum. And then this challenge versus Astralis, this is what it was all about. They knew they were going to have their hands full. Astralis was taking names in that lower bracket. And Gambit, listen, they played well. They had a lead on both of the maps early. And then, of course, Astralis do what they do. They clawed back that lead. They closed both maps, and they really did kind of send Gambit back into that lower level where, honestly, they belong. And they're currently just, again, gaining more and more experience, more and more wins. Gambit are an excellent team, but they didn't have what it took to take down Astralis in the first time the teams met. And is anybody really surprised?
I think this is a good example of why best of ones have become more legitimate over time with the changes to the economy, reduction of the importance of the pistol, that the experienced team will have enough buy rounds that they can actually show if they're better or not. And Gambit had really strong starts, but then the evolution of the game plan couldn't keep up with Astralis, and then Astralis slowly went out over with experience. And of course, Device, not playing scared at all.
The campaign to bring back best of ones in 2021 starts here. Also, we had another shocker happen yesterday over on the B stream because Heroic versus Godsent went a way that we were not necessarily expecting.
It's pretty amazing that Godsent are continuing to put up results. Again, this is the first tournament with Emmy, and so far, so damn great. They have some big wins now. Their map pool is actually getting entirely too strong, but Mousesports will be their biggest challenge in that regard, and this is the rematch, where Mousesports are the team that have beat them once in this tournament already.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Emmy can do because we haven't actually covered Godsent on this stream yet. So I'm not really sure what to expect because I've been to tournaments where Godsent has been part of the lineup, but they've never made it this far. I've never had the opportunity to actually cover their matches.
And Crystal said Godsent will be worse without me. He went out on a limb and said that. It's not true so far.
It is not true, but I'm still glad he said it. I hope he's not too embarrassed because that tweet gave me joy. We're going to take a look at the European bracket just to remind yourselves of where we are in the playoffs. And I can tell you, we're in the semi-finals, so you can see who fell by the wayside yesterday. So Complexity also got sent home, Scrawny.
Yeah, unfortunate. They've got a couple of, I think, pretty lopsided losses now in this event. One at the hands of Gambit, and then here again versus Furia. Now, I don't think that's a huge surprise with Furia because they are a team that has just been gaining steam since they got to Europe, and this is their next challenge, right? Our second semifinal later today. That is such a test for both of those teams. Don't count anybody out. And then, of course, we had that rematch, Mouse versus Cloud9, doing it again. Cloud9, a 2 BO3 win spree, improvements looking decent, but Kerrigan has Alex's number, and I think they both know it.
It'd be great to look at the North American bracket as well, because last night we sadly said goodbye to Mythic. They are the team that I was kind of rooting for, NA, and actually you're going to find out why very soon. But it was really cool to have a team that actually kind of streams their prep and shows the world how they actually get ready for these matches. But this lineup makes sense, Dawners.
Yeah, and of course you've got, Yeah Gaming and Team One. They're relay teams that are being watched right now in North America. It's a tough situation there for Chaos, of course, and Rebirth are also up and coming. There's a lot of room for these teams to show and prove something here at DreamHack Masters, which is an awesome opportunity. But of course, it's been quite a difficult period for North America.
I'm guessing it's going to be a Team 1 versus Chaos final, but you know what? I could be wrong, so make sure that you keep watching later on because Banks, Pimps, and Maniacs will be here to take you through that one. I don't know why I've pluralized them.
Yeah, what's the plural of Banks?
I don't know. I keep calling it Bonks as well. I don't understand what's wrong with me. Banks, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to start calling you by your first names. Matthew, Jacob, and James will be here to take you through the very refined North American games later today. And talking of refinement, Get Right refined Spray Control back in the day, and now he's here to reinvent interviews as well because he caught up with Flom from Mythic. So let's catch up with that chat.
For almost my entire life, playing Counter-Strike was everything, and it was everything I dreamed of. I won trophies, traveled the world, and played in the biggest arenas. I spent my career as a player being asked the same stupid questions.
How do you feel?
Over and over.
What went wrong?
And over again.
You had a terrible CT side. How did you turn it round to take the game? Why are Astralis the best team in the world?
But now I have decided to face a new challenge, to interview the players I once faced on the servers. Because if Frankie can do it, I mean, anyone can do it. Hi Flom, how you doing,
Chris.
buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So I'm here today with Eric Flom. I love to say that, I don't know why, but still it's pretty interesting to say it because
just
it makes
flows,
sense.
man.
Yeah, it floats better, you know, like that. I wanted to ask you just a casual question. It's more like this. Eric, can you explain to any new viewer, like, who are you and like, what are you doing and like, why do you love CSGO, basically?
Well, I mean, it's not just CSGO, right? It's every version of CS I've loved. So I was all in from the very start, right? So I'm the guy that in North America, when it came out, I just all in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I made my own team with my own friends. And sure enough, we made our way into Invite at the time, which you know is now called the Pro Division, and ended up getting signed to this team eventually called Luminosity Gaming once upon a time. Got the bench shortly after my LAN event where we had a bright idea to cut our IGL 2 days beforehand. And then after that, I'd been kind of streaming along the way this whole time. Mythic is, I think, a representative of that journey. It's the stream team and the competitive team. And now it's even more than that, which is cool. But that's me. I think that sums me up pretty well.
If we can go away a little bit from that topic in general, I mean, Mythic is such a cool thing because Mythic is just more than just like a stream team, basically, because he also has his own league and all that kind of stuff. But how did it come to that point where you just like basically took Mythic to the next level, or like basically keeping it to the same core with streaming, like official games, but also doing, you know, the other things to it?
By pure accident. You know, I could give you some really cool story of this is what I had planned all along and this is what I was going to be doing, but that's just not true. Quite frankly, I didn't plan on ever doing this ever. You know, it's just one of those things where I saw a need within the community and I'm just trying to support that need.
Yeah.
And that is where Mythic is kind of led. That's how it happened. And I think that's probably the best way to summarize all of that, I guess.
But since like going a little bit back to Mythic, just like the whole team itself, like the stream team, or how you say it, like, would you even define yourself like a streamer team or just a team or a pug even?
Why not all three? I mean, we're a pug, we're a stream team, and we're a team. You know, at the end of the day, when somebody like DreamHack says, would you guys like to play in this tournament? We say absolutely, because we know it'll be fun as a team. So I think, you know, at the end of the day, we are a pug because we don't really practice that much. We are a stream team, but we're also a team because at the end of the day, we just want to play Counter-Strike together and we enjoy playing with one another.
Well, that's awesome to hear. And damn, Eric, like, I know for sure we could talk even longer hours and more depth about a lot of things, especially with our beautiful game that we love too dearly.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for taking your time, Eric.
Always, Chris, always. Anything for you, boo.
Thank you.
Anytime, bro. Anytime.
I feel like there are very few people in this world who love Counter-Strike as much as Flom does. Like, I had no idea
I thought you were gonna say
how
Get
much
Right,
he was
but-
doing. I mean, I feel like Get Right loves it as well, but Flom is like single-handedly, it feels like sometimes keeping the NA dream alive because he's obviously streaming Counter-Strike all the time. he is doing his thing with Mythic.
I think it's
he's
really
also
helpful.
running FPL for North America or something crazy.
Well,
he's got his own hub.
Yeah, the Mythic Hub. This was
Yeah.
a very popular hub, and it's very important for players to develop that way. It was a competitive hub that was very popular. And yeah, it's so useful to hear comms and to be able to understand what experienced players do. So on your way up, I think he provides a really valuable resource to people who want to learn.
It's a really good combination of like entertainment and then structured CS in a way, right? Like nobody really gives you that kind of portal into what Team Counter-Strike looks like. There's not many just dedicated competitor CS streamers. So I think that's where Flom carves out his place, and I appreciate it.
Dude does crazy hours as well, so the people in Europe can watch him. He's totally dedicated, so do check him out on Twitch. Unfortunately, we did lose Mythic from the tournament yesterday, but I think that Flom's probably gained even more viewers to his stream, hopefully after this week's successes. So let's talk about the prizes. What's at stake here at the DreamHack Masters Winter? Because it's not just about ESL Pro points, although that's really what our teams want. We've also got a prize pool as well. So you can see here, so there's $150,000 for Europe, and you can see how that's broken down. So our winning team tomorrow is going to take $60,000. Second place, $30,000. They could maybe buy themselves a little small car.
And we don't know who's going to win. That's the best part. I think it's a very nice first and second, and it's really tight between the top two teams of these four remaining.
That's true. It's also about the teams. I just saw the dollar signs, and I started thinking about all the things I would buy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and what would you buy with $60,000? Where would you start?
What would I buy?
Put it in the savings?
I probably would put it in the savings. I'd probably spend it on my mortgage. I'm really boring. Sometimes I wonder whether I should buy a handbag, and then I go, no.
I'll get a blender.
Food is more useful than, unless I got a dog to go in the handbag, in which case, fine, count me in. Let's look at the ESL Pro Tour point standings right now. Would you buy broccoli?
Rocket League?
Broccoli. You don't need to buy Rocket League. It's free to play, mate.
Oh, wow.
You could buy a
Perfect.
Hot Wheels car in
Then I
Rocket
can eat
League.
broccoli while I play Rocket League.
There you go. Yeah, and you could pay Scrawny to put it into your mouth as you play. Hands-free. So the key thing here we should be looking at really is mouse sports. So we've already had some of their playoff points added because they came into this tournament with about 600 points. So if they win this event, they're going to take over from FaZe Clan. They're going to have over 1,000 points.
Right. Yeah, that's the big result, and it's the only thing that matters right now at this point from the standings. It's the only thing that can move.
Yeah, exactly. OG would get bumped out by them. The other thing to note is the other way to qualify for Katowice, apart from the play-ins or a direct invite, is one of the wild card spots. So if Mouse Sports work their way into a very high position on the ESL World Rankings, they could still find themselves playing for Katowice next year. Right, North America. They also have ESL Pro Tour spots, so we're going to look at those as well. I mean, this one, we know the drill with this one now, Scrawny.
Yes, we do. Furia, Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, not going anywhere. Chaos, they've left in terms of an organization from Counter-Strike. That is very sad news, as this was a very talented roster within NA. And I think, that's why our eyes now fall on Team 1. They are one of the 4 remaining teams currently in the NA tournament, and they're not that far away from Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, as was brought up, I think a tweet by Note, he said Envy, they're like ranked 58 in the world. They have a tier 1 org. Chaos, they're about to disband because they just lost their org. What's going on? They're a much better team.
Yeah, I mean, they've won as many events in the last 2 weeks as Envy have won maps in the last 2 months.
They basically play Flashpoint 2 times a year because they're a partnered team. This is a situation where Chaos should absolutely find an org.
It's a really weird situation as well, because isn't Envy kind of partially European now as well? Like, they've got Thomas, the British player.
It's an amalgamation of countries. It's not no 2 players from one country, I don't think. Calix,
I don't think so either.
Thomas, Mihu, Polish, and then Nifty from NA. And it ain't working right now, so I don't know. That's just a big shame.
Just sign the Chaos roster.
That would be the best move, yes.
No offense to the people who are currently on Envy, it's just as a unit, we're not necessarily seeing the results we want to see from them. We are seeing those from Chaos, so we are all hoping, like literally everyone in Counter-Strike right now is rooting for the boys from Chaos. But who are you guys rooting for in our first semi-final of the day? Is it going to be Godsend? Is it going to be Mouse Sports? We'll find out from you guys in Twitch chat after this break.